has purchased property in Canada. And he said that he heard from multiple people that this is the case. Jalen, does this mean 100% unequivocally Kawhi Leonard is definitely, positively going to stay with the Toronto Raptors another year at least?
It does not mean that, and I've been on wax acknowledging it would make me happy if he decided to stay in Toronto because the love affair the fans have with that team. I just went to a restaurant yesterday, and the big sign right in front of it as I paid top dollar for my meal said, Kawhi Leonard eats free here. That's the kind of love that he's getting over there. I would love to see him stay. However, just because he brought a property, that does not attach him to a team because he could be diversifying his portfolio. We also know that he spent $13 million on a place in California. So his free agency, as a guy that does not talk much, is going to play out for public consumption eventually, but I don't think that this is the lead domino either way to whether he's going to stay or go.
Do you think if the Raptors beat the Warriors in the NBA Finals and bring a championship to Canada, that he's more likely to leave or less likely to leave?
I think it's like 50-50, Jacoby, because if you bring a championship and you want to leave, you can say, I delivered. Y'all never been to the finals in 25 years? I got y'all there. Y'all had so many great players. I was the one that delivered a championship. And those great fans there are still going to love him forever. And as somebody that grew up in the United States, I have to tell you, that love affair is going to be different for him when he returns than what you saw when LeBron returned to Cleveland if he left, or Paul George when he returned to Indiana. It's just a little bit different how they're going to embrace this player because he's able to deliver things that they have not seen.
Well, even with the finals still very much in the balance and these rumors about him buying real estate, there's so much going on for Kawhi Leonard right now. He still found the time to sue Nike. Kawhi Leonard has filed an official lawsuit against Nike about that logo you see in the middle of his chest. The lawsuit says the following, quote, in 2011, just after being drafted to the National Basketball Association, Kawhi Leonard authored a unique logo that included elements that were meaningful and unique to him. Leonard traced his notably large hand, and inside the hand drew stylized version of his initials, KL, and the number that he had worn much of his career, 2. The drawing Leonard authored was an extension and continuation of drawings he had been creating since early in his college career. Interesting. Jalen, do you think Kawhi Leonard has been drawing that logo since early in his college career?
All I know is he's on his old school Chuck D, and I'm glad that Chuck and Nike repaired their relationship. But he's on that, I like Nike, but wait a minute. He like, wait a minute, this is my logo, this is my likeness. I don't want anybody else to be able to use it. I felt like they did use it. I'm getting my bread now from New Balance. I don't need them. I'm going to sue them. I'm not mad at him for trying to go after something that he feels like was rightfully his. Do I feel like he's the person that physically drew it? No, I can't draw either. But that don't mean I can't own a logo.
So I don't think he drew this, but shout out to him for suing Nike. You know what my first reaction to this story was, Jalen? My very first reaction was, does ESPN and Disney own my name now? Like I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I mean, my name is on the show. It's ESPN property. Like, do I have to buy my name back from Disney? Let's just never get canceled so we don't have to worry about that. Jalen, on DAZN on Saturday night, the unthinkable happened. Andy Ruiz became the very first heavyweight champion of Mexican descent when he beat Anthony Joshua on Saturday night in Madison Square Garden. The unthinkable happened. But right now you've all seen the fight, you know what happened, but I want to talk to you about this, the implications of that fight. Now we will not see what we all wanted, the Joshua Wilder fight. Wilder today said that after his next fight, the following fight will be a rematch against Fury, who famously fought him to a draw in Los Angeles in early 2020. What do you think about the chaos that is now the heavyweight division in boxing?
It's actually great for the sport And Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, both of those gentlemen have been so gracious to join our show a couple of times. I feel like I need to defend the honor of Mr. Ruiz here. There's so many people that look at him as a fighter, and yes, he may be shaped like butterbean, but they want to body shame him and make it seem like he's not capable of a moment that he was able to achieve. This is an accomplished fighter. He's been at his entire career. He's only had one loss. Just because you didn't pay for the fight, just because most people aren't deeply following the heavyweight class, we wanted to treat him like a tomato can. And then he came out and he showed out on the big stage. So I want to give him props. Now let's talk about what I think this really cost Anthony Joshua. You remember when he was on the show and I asked him about the amazing contract that Canelo got with DAZN, the $300 million, and I love the way his face lit up. I think losing this fight cost him at least $100 million. Let me say that again. Losing this fight, I believe, cost him at least $100 million because this was his final fight with DAZN. Now he's trying to get a new contract. His next fight ain't Wilder. Wilder's fighting Fury. And all of a sudden, we're going to look up at 12 months, and all three of those belts are going to be on one shoulder, one waist of one Deontay Wilder. This has been an amazing undertaking in the heavyweight division.
Well, people talk about Drake a lot during the NBA Finals, and there's this thing called the Drake curse, which I think Drake gets unfairly criticized for, you know, because he's like me. He's a Daisy fan. He just likes different teams whenever he likes them, and I'm like the same way. Well, this did not go well for the Drake curse because Anthony Joshua tweeted this, about to break the curse, in a picture with him and Drake. Jalen, I don't really believe in the Drake curse, but this isn't helping. Do you believe the Drake curse is real?
I don't believe it's real, but this isn't helping. But I do believe it's one thing to think something. It's another thing to speak it in existence. And I tell this to people all of the time. I'm sick. I'm tired. I'm lonely. I can't get it done. You think about all of the things that may lead to failure, but it's another thing when you actually say them into the atmosphere. And for him to post that lets you know that he was conscious. Also, if you're Drake, you really don't like that post because you're attaching him to the curse. And then all of a sudden you get dropped. And now we are talking about whether the curse is real or not.
Well, if the Raptors win the NBA Finals, we will finally do away forever.
Oh, no, that's not fair.
Forever. If the Raptors win the final, the curse is broken. That is fair. What are you talking about?
He's the #1 Raptors fan, and they made it to the finals for the first time in 25 years. To me, that helps bury the curse.
Okay. Well, certainly an NBA championship would bury it for good. And we will tell you exactly what the Raptors need to do against Steph Curry to slow one half of the Splash Brothers right after this.